is the Men Behind the Mitts podcast. Hosted by Big J. And now, here's your favorite Buttes.
All right, guys, welcome back to Wait, this is the beginning. Welcome to, All right, guys, welcome to episode number 35 from Men Behind the Mitts. Off to a rocky start, but I'm here for it. This episode number 35 brought to you by Martin Brodeur. All right, Silk, having a sip of the old can over there. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's up, dude? Brought to you by Marty Brodeur. Don't give it twisted. That guy has no idea we exist.
Yeah, not brought to you by. I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm always like, is that like, it's
just like a title
episode
for the
35,
episode.
semicolon, Martin Brodeur. Like, I don't know what to do with it. Like,
you should
I call it?
Just read it like at a game, like number 35, Martin Brodeur.
Martin Brodeur. Oh, yeah, that's classy. That's a good touch. Man, I never thought of it that way. Wow.
Yeah, let's bring it in again and we'll delete everything we just said.
But I like this. Now we're going to keep it.
All right.
Hey, guys, welcome to episode 35, Martin Brodeur. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. We're going to have two intros on our intro.
Yeah, intro. Man, I don't care. But let me tell you what. This has been an exciting week. This is the first official episode with hockey NHL games being back. And let me tell you, things are going off without a hitch for most teams. But it has been an exciting start. How you feeling about it, Silk? I mean, I feel like this season is going to be a wild one. I feel like it could be anyone's season, especially with how this 56 game setup. How you feeling?
Well, man, if I'm being honest, I think preseason makes more of a difference than we thought, or the practice too. Just something. A lot of guys look like they don't got it, and then some guys do. Obviously,
yeah.
McDavid and leading the points already 5 with a Hattie. It's unreal. Like, but for instance, with the Caps, for us to relate, because we just watched them today versus Pittsburgh, like Kuzi, he just has these moments where he's like, he's not smooth, no pun intended. He's not silky,
Right.
He just doesn't got it going or something. And then we're paying attention and we notice the guy, like today, switched his stick 3 times.
Right.
Like he's in his own head,
Yeah, man. I feel like everyone's just trying to get it dialed back in. Everyone's trying to get the timing right. So I still feel like it's definitely going to be a change. But I mean, you can't, not to say that other players aren't starting off and playing some of the best hockey that we've seen. Like some of these, prime example is Suzuki, bro. Nick Suzuki's coming out of, we already know he had the ability, but he is really turning on early this season. He's really got it going.
Yeah, for sure. That kid's stepping out, and that's just, we talked about it a few times, but these kids that are coming from the World Juniors got a little pep in their step. We already saw Stützle get his first NHL goal up in Ottawa on his like, come on, bro.
Off of an incredible pass, by the way, too, man. That sauce. I mean, that was all the sauce gloss there. Float one bounce, one timer in. It was an incredible play, man.
Yeah, dude, unreal. To just, I'm just blown away at how quickly it's second game. His first game, was his birthday. He gets loose, and already second game he's producing. Like, that's just amazing. But he still got that pep in his step from World Juniors, and I noticed he's still wearing those sick ass fucking custom Bowers too. I'm surprised the league let him wear those. That's sick. Yeah,
definitely, man. I'm glad they're letting it slide. It's little stuff like that makes it stand out. So, I don't know. To me, it's fun. But let me tell you, I noticed it today a lot, man, was the ads. Me and you've been texting about the ads. We got to air this out. So I'm okay. Like the ads on the helmet, it's growing on me. Some look bad. Some look okay. Like today, I thought when the Pens have a black helmet, the PPG logo doesn't look that bad. It's white. But man, when they rock the white bucket with the blue PPG, oh,
that's brutal.
It is horrible, man. So I think it just depends on what the color scheme of the teams are. You know what I mean? Like the Caps, it almost works out great. Capital One, you still got Capital on there. You know what I mean? So like that almost works out. I think we got one of the better deals.
It worked out for a couple teams. Calgary being one. Scotiabank logo on there is red. It's right with their colors. Both buckets look fresh with the little red Scotiabank logo. So, but yeah, I think as we just played the Pens, but they have it the worst. That just big blue square is like the worst helmet ad. It's so European feel. Another spot though we're seeing it though is on the glass. You notice around on the glass all the way around.
Yeah.
Like Tampa had
So
Adidas. Like that was interesting.
I remember they started that in the playoffs like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I want to say they randomly started putting like one behind on the back glass behind the net. Like they randomly started putting it there, and I was like, as long as they don't move it, you know what I mean? The glass I can tolerate because there's not really fans there, but I do like to see the fans. Like, you know what I mean? Looking in the corner and fans are slapping glass and everything. Like that's pretty cool. But the glass I can tolerate. You know what how do you feel about the glass? Because what drives me crazy is the ice, man. When they try to put them in the neutral zone and stuff like that, and then the logos dancing all over the ice. Man,
Yeah.
that's the one that distracts me the most and makes me look. You have to look and look back or whatever, you know.
Today was like they had a whole game schedule on there. They were showing us the
Yeah.
Wednesday night game, what time, what channel, everything
Yeah.
right on the top of the blue line. And it's I don't know. It's at least they figured out a way to keep the players on top of it, and it doesn't like break it up when they skate through. It's almost like
Right.
under the ice, but you can tell like they're putting it there.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I don't know. It kind of pulls away from watching the game a little.
I think so. If they're talking about using this like player tracking and you know they're wanting fans more like they're trying to draw in more crowds stuff like that, like adding stuff like that is not going to cut it. Like now you're just distracting me.
Well,
There's even more now. It's overwhelming. There's more going on. You know what I mean?
yeah, 100%. I know what you mean. Another thing to go along with what you were just saying is the ad tracker, and they shows the players' names at the face-offs. They're and they're so big, and then sometimes they're not even getting it right. The face-offs already happened, and then they pop up, and it's in the middle of the
Right.
play. Like they got it. It's just it's messy. Do you like seeing the names out there? I mean, I recognize that's what the numbers are so big for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I know who's
I mean,
out there.
it's nicer on like teams that I don't get to see as often, where like I'm not as familiar with third liners and stuff like that, where you know they're just not just because they're not the star or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it is nice like sometimes, but usually like you said, by the time it's on, the play's moving, you know, so it's like I'll catch it, you know what I mean, like, and that's what I
Yeah.
can, or I might have to double check or just listen for it in the announcing. There someone should say it eventually, you know what I mean. But I'm not a big fan of it either, man. I just think just leave it alone and pay attention for a call.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think it could get worse? But luckily, we're starting to see fans show up to the game, so I don't think it's gonna get any worse as far as ads.
Yeah.
You saw they had fans at games. Nashville getting wild, throwing a fish on with a mask.
On a fish on with a mask on, yeah. But I saw him at the Arizona game as well, man. The Arizona San Jose game, which was awesome. Like, you know, I was like, those are real fans. That's real cheering. Like, it was cool
Yeah.
to see. Like they scored and like to see people jump, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, that's got to feel so good for the players. Like to have, oh my god, actual support again instead of just like I mean, they didn't even get fake cheering. That's just what we got. But like, oh man, they were saying it was so quiet then that whole playoff bubble, you know?
Yeah, and then the fake chants with no fans there, like we had today in the Pitts game. I was like, that shit sounds just like Go Cavs, but
Yeah,
whatever.
Pause, please. Yeah, I'm
But-
not a fan, but I'm definitely happy to see people back in the arenas. You know what? I don't care. We're getting back to normal. You know what? If we can take it step by step, man, I'm happy for it because hopefully it'll happen in our area sooner versus later. Your area, you know.
One thing that has changed though since the season's been back that we haven't really seen in any other season is the players speaking their minds here, bud. In the post game interviews.
Dude, these
Philly,
interviews.
yeah. What'd you think about that?
Dude, Voracek from the Flyers. I can't remember the name of the guy who was interviewing him, but apparently he's a local writer. And he's like, I don't even want to answer your question. He goes, no matter what I say, he's like, you're just gonna trash me.
You're gonna write shit. Yeah, he said, quote,
like,
you're gonna write shit.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, just no holding back, man. It's so great, dude. We don't have the time for this bullshit.
Called him a fucking weasel. That was the best
weasel,
part. He said,
bro.
you're a weasel.
Yeah, he's like, you're gonna take it and run with it wherever you want. Like, oh, he's like, I shouldn't even taken your question. All right, bud. Good to see ya.
Hey, how are ya?
And apparently the fire's not only at journalists. There we go. Big word. Got it. Journalists not even that big. I was just like, the fire's not at the interviewing people. Yes, big brain time. The journalists. But also players are chirping other players. Prime example, Patrick Laine.
That guy, I love it. Coming off getting the game winner, 2 goals.
Yeah.
Calls the guy a fucking pigeon.
He's a pigeon, bud. It's like,
He's a
oh
pigeon,
God.
bud.
We don't need to listen to him. He's a pigeon. Oh,
That's so
so
classy of
good.
him to say
So
that.
good.
So
It's such a
classy.
move, and it was all over too, man. It was all over Instagram. Chicklets was all over it, dude. It was a hot. People love that because Line is such a chill dude. Really, like you don't get to see much of that. And like I think we talked about it in a breakaway or something, but man, Line looked pretty wide, man. Looked like he definitely put on a couple pounds.
He hasn't
In
lost a
the
step.
yeah, man. No, looking wide, looking beefy, looking real beefy out there.
You say that with confidence.
Could be the Fortnite pounds. Who knows, man? It gets tough out there.
Yo, chill. Fucking he is that guy.
All right.
Hey, this is gonna be a good epi though. We're bringing on Beer League Beauty,
Oh yeah.
our tripod, our bestie, Stevey B. That's gonna be
Yeah, man.
exciting. We got Stevie waiting for you folks. Josh, you wanna bring this kid in?
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot him a text, tell him we are ready.
Yeah, let him know. Let him know.
But yeah, so we're bringing Stevey B on for you guys. We're gonna hey, there he is.
This guy.
Connecting the audio.
Let's go.
Hey, what up?
Yo,
Hey, bud,
what's up, bud?
Stevey
What's
B,
up, buddy?
we're rolling in hot, baby. No warm ups for you, man. We are recording. We were just me and Silky were just talking about some hockey stuff, some ads, and in the most recent interviews, man, like Voracek not holding back and stuff like that. So man, we're just rolling on the league, man. How you doing? How you liking the start of the league so far, man?
Man, I'm loving it. It's fucking great, dude. There's like the Caps division, the East division. It's gonna come down to the wire. I think like at the end, man. There's just so much talent spread throughout the league, and it's fucking awesome.
For sure, man. The East is going to be wild this year because there's going to be some great teams that don't make the playoffs. Like they're just not going to make it. Like the battle out there is going to be insane.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. I wanted to dive right in on someone who me and Silk talked about earlier, and that's Dylan Larkin. Man, like we talked about him getting named captain up on the Red Wings this year, man, and his gameplay over the weekend, Saturday, dude, this guy is playing insane. Like he is leading these Wings, like just like how we expected. But I'm telling you, next level, man. How you guys feeling about Larkin, man? Go on ahead, Silk.
Yo, we talked about this a little bit. I'm so happy to see that C on his chest first and foremost, right?
Absolutely.
Like he well deserved.
I was gonna say well deserved.
American born kid, Team USA all the way, baby.
Makes it twice as good, by the way.
I know.
The American players.
and he's in Hockeytown, USA. He's doing the thing. Low hopes for the team though, man. They got some rebuilding to do, but I think Larkin is doing Larkin things. If he's still doing this with the roster they have, that means he's still progressing. So when they finally get that roster built around him, he's gonna be just right. It's not like he's fallen off talent wise because the roster around him can't suffice to keep up with his talent. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's good to see that he's still producing, early too. We're already in, they've had what, 3 games already on the board.
4 points, 5 points. Yeah, man. It's definitely the direction he needs to be going.
Yeah, he's definitely inspirational because, like you said, the roster he's got with him, dude, is, he doesn't have all the help in the world, but he cares, and that's why he has a C on his chest. And his wheels, whew.
Yeah, that's what I mean, dude. He looked flawless. Like I was watching some highlights against Carolina, and I was like, man, he looks so confident with the puck. Like it's like I feel like he just reached the next level, like in his play this year. Like he just looked that much more confident with the puck. Like he's always been a stud, but man, like he just commanded respect like while he was on the ice. It was a good presence to see.
Hell yeah, dude. That's the key, the confidence.
Yeah, man, I definitely like it. So we gotta talk about it because it's been burning a hole. I've just been thinking about it nonstop. Joe Thornton's officially on the board.
Yeah. So is Austin Matthews. Joe. Same game.
Same game.
Shout out to Toronto finally getting some points out of their guys. But not to sidetrack, but I can't stop thinking about it. Where's Mitch Marner? Like he is the show and go here. What's going on with Marner? y'all fucking suck. What's going on here? I'm fucking talking to myself.
No, my bad. Nah, son. Nah, Mitch was there. I seen him have 2 apples. I was trying to let Steve jump in because I feel like I was controlling the whole. I feel like I was going nonstop. Nah, but Marner's in there, man. Like I feel like he got that apple on the second goal on Saturday.
He got a goal and an apple. Yeah, I don't know why I even said that. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's producing. We're gonna cut that.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut that.
I was like, I'm trying to think of a thought where he
scored off the face off from Matthews, and then he got the apple on the Matthews goal, and I'm breaking the game down in my head. And I'm just like, why'd you say that? He's doing
fine.
That whole line is what we should have said.
He assisted on Joe Thornton's goal.
Yeah, that's fine.
Why don't you bring in Jumbo Joe again, bro? Let's. I know where to cut it. We'll start again. Let's start on Jumbo Joe again. You confirm that. You confirm that while Josh is bringing it in. All right, ready? 3.
What game was that?
You're a bum. Ottawa, yeah.
I love it. This is a straight gong. Don't edit any of this. Yeah. This is great. This is why we're here, man. Look, this is why we're on episode 35. And hopefully this won't be happening when we're at episode 57. Like, who knows, man? This is what happens. We're no professionals with whatever. We're in a fucking studio and shit. We're making.
We'll just have to put it to a vote. We'll see how quickly he gets these stats, and we'll put it to a vote. Just bring him on every episode. This is our stat guy. You're a stat guy. Hey, confirm that. Is Josh full of shit? Does McDavid have 7 points in 2 games? What's the deal here? Let's see here. No pressure. We'll just put a big timer on when I edit this right here.
I don't know, but either way, and Joe's goal was sick too, man. He fucking back. I dropped my drink. He back barred down that thing, man, and I mean that was an absolute laser.
Yeah, so like I was saying before we got all giggly wiggly in here, that whole line's firing. Matthews getting one, winning the faceoff. Marner getting one. He's got 2 apples on Joe and Matthews. That whole first line is firing. And how great to see a guy like Joe, who has been a stud in this league since Boston and has never won the cup and a potential to win. Now, I'm not saying Toronto will win. They're I don't know. I don't know what to say. Especially with the way Freddie Anderson's playing, but boy, it's fun. It's fun hockey to watch, right?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, definitely, man. Go ahead, Steve.
No, I was just gonna say Marner kind of made that play. That pass was a bank pass off the boards, and he stretched his stick out to block it, stop it, and obviously gained his own with it, and dropped it to big old Jumbo Joe. But yeah.
No, that's something I do like about Toronto, man. They got that exciting firepower. They've got that high rate of firepower, and they can get that cycle going deep. I think that's where they work best from. When you get Matthews working that deep cycle, and then he was out in front of the net. Oh, what happened? Did we lose something?
What just happened?
I don't know. Did we lose something?
No, why? I'm here.
Oh no, my screen just acted out. Well, we can edit that. So much editing, but like I was saying, when Toronto gets the puck deep and they got Matthews, Cycle, and Marner, and then they can take turns floating out to that high slot area, man. That's where they get a lot of their work done on that line, man. And I mean, I think they're hard to stop there.
Oh yeah, their speed and that bread and butter. Try to get Matthews open up on that shot. Ooh, game over for any goaltender.
What's happening? Why is my screen?
I don't know.
Are you doing that? Is someone doing that?
I'm not doing anything.
It's making it look like it's making it look like it's ending, and it's just like I'm just looking at myself. I'm like, why am I looking at myself?
I don't know what's going on.
Why is this hard right now?
I can see all 3 of you. I'm in gallery mode.
Yeah, I'm in gallery mode too, bro. Like I'm looking at some art.
So, Steven, does it change when whoever's talking, or is it just constantly Josh?
It changes whoever's talking, really, but I got you in gallery mode now.
Yeah, gallery.
Gallery. How come the yellow box for mine? Hold on, I'm gonna stop this.
And we're back. Technical difficulties have been had, and the tech team's on it. Thanks, boys. But we are. We are back. We are getting dug back. But we were talking to warm up again. I don't even know whatever you want to call it before we were recording, and apparently Stevie said Buffalo's going crazy, and I was like, "What's going on in Buffalo?" And
That's where I come in. Your local residential Buffalonian reporting.
Buffalonian.
I'm reporting on the local Buffalonian people, and they have gone wild for a sporting event of football, American football.
Football Americano.
Yes, they are winning playoff game after playoff game, and people do not know how to act.
So
Yep.
Bill's
So it wasn't.
Bill's
so it
Mafia is
wasn't-
going crazy up there.
I've been watching
Hell yeah.
children, like babies that are a few months old, get tossed through cardboard fake tables. All right,
Yeah.
it's wild. It's wild to see what's going on up here. I don't live near I live near more city, than suburban. And there were
Yeah.
fireworks last night, and I was just confused because
Huh.
there's not really a place to do that. Or
What's their record? What's Buffalo's record?
I don't know
The
their record. I don't
Bills.
watch American football. I did watch the game
Me
last
either.
night.
Well, I mean, they're in the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs.
Playoffs.
Don't talk to me about playoffs.
Man, the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, can we get back to what
Buffalo
I remember?
Bills.
All right, enough with this bullshit. I remember what we were talking about. Let's jump back to it. Jumbo Joe was on the board. Toronto's
Jumbo
first
Joe.
line is looking hot. Marner, that game alone already had 3 points.
Hot.
I like it.
Yeah,
Toronto's
they're
a
rolling.
real threat.
Yeah, Toronto definitely. Let's hope they can keep it on that. I know they're back and forth as of right now, but I mean, for the sake of our buddy Ricky up there, and for a lot of Toronto fans, I mean, let's hope they can keep it going. They need a season, and they definitely added Thornton for that reason. Go ahead, Steve.
Who do you guys think wins our division?
Our division?
Yeah.
Oh man, the East is going to be hard. I want to say the Caps, but we'll talk about that later. But I think it's
that's tough to say, especially with like the defending champs starting out against Chicago.
Yeah.
We haven't seen them play anybody really. Technically, we didn't play anybody really because Buffalo isn't supposed to be that good. Or ... Are they that good now that they have all this offensive talent? It can compensate for their lack, between the pipes. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know what. It's not going to be a crapshoot. It's going to be a push to the end because, like I said earlier, there's going to be a lot of teams in the East that should have been in the playoffs that are not going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you there.
What are they taking? The top 4 from each division, right? That's it.
Yep.
16 teams, right?
Yeah, top 4 from each will play. So basically, there's going to be playoff teams that don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, is there a wild card option on or in this? I don't believe so. Right?
Where they do that at?
Yeah, they're just taking. Yeah, what am I talking about?
Wild card. You a real wild card player.
Yeah, the NFC East wild card.
The Honda Eastern Division wild card.
Yeah, that's when the Honda division they're doing motor swaps. B16 over here.
Oh,
that's
wow. You just lost a lot of people with that one.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. So talking spots. Everything's fine. Let's get back to Steve here. Steve, we had a little chit chat. We were talking about goalies. Just to update everybody where we're at when recording this, we just played Pittsburgh and lost. How do you feel about Sammy between the pipes?
I think he looks a little bit shaky right now. A little sloppy, but I mean, it's only been 3 games. He's played 2, so give him some time. He'll
really? You think it's just like preseason jitters and he'll be able to work it out? Because to me, it looks like he's inside his own head and he doesn't have the confidence and he's lacking. And I don't know if this is something he's just going to shake by getting on the ice more.
I kind of agree with you there. Like he does look shaken, like 100%, but I don't know. And he probably look how Vitek played. That he's fucking solid, dude.
I was definitely impressed with Vitek's NHL debut. You know what I mean? Very, very impressed. Cool, calm, collective. You know what I mean? He looked like he was pretty centered, focused on what was going on.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, and that's why I brought it up, because the question now that's in my head, and I'm basing this off the not only just like the stats at it all, just like mentally what I'm seeing them do, the way they're carrying themselves throughout the game. V looked sharper. He was there. He was engaged with every play.
Oh,
I mean,
much sharper,
Sammy's
yeah.
even having bad touches with the puck where, you know what I'm saying, he's fucking causing goals and shit. Like, come on,
Yeah.
bud. There's like
There's
no
some
confidence
questionable
in what he's
challenges and
doing.
stuff.
Sammy looks a little lost. Just, I don't know.
That's a good way to sum it up. Like I really hate not hate, but I feel bad for tenders, number one, when they get scored on, and then when you can see them inside their own head, like looking down, shaking their head. You know what I mean? Like it's tough to see because it's like you're accepting it. You know what I mean? And also, I think we also come off of, we've had Brady Holtby for how long, and watching him just
dude,
collect himself immediately. You had that presence, and you could see a little bit of that. I felt like in VTech, I felt like he was calmer. He looked more collected in that aspect.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
No, go ahead. I was going to say the way VTech played and the way he carried himself, that's only going to put more pressure on Sammy. You know what I'm saying? So
agreed.
Just get into his head even more. Hopefully
which is
he'll
unfortunate.
Be able to maintain that, you know.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I really don't like the aspect of a goalie battle. I feel like it should be like a goalie teamwork. Like they should be working together.
A tandem. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
and they probably are. And like, and to add on that, the coaching staff at this point has to also be in his ear positively and know what type of goalie he is. You know, everybody's different emotionally, and managers and teams and coaches know these nowadays. You handle each player differently, you know, to some certain extent. And so he's probably got his goalie coach in his ear. Let him know he's our guy. Right. We're not bailing on him. He's not gonna, the job's his. Right. It's his. So, you know, so he has some confidence. Get back in there. Hey, we're not, because if he's playing like this, you know, as a pro, fuck, am I about to lose my job? That's also something that comes into a play when it comes to this shit. You don't just get to have a bad game. This is your livelihood here. You play a bad game, you might have lost your fucking job. So I think the coaches need to be in his ear, like, hey, you're our guy. Let's go. Let's get it going. Because at the end of the day, also, we ended with a shootout. It could have been much worse. I think he played well in the shootout, and that's individual talent. That's all on him. So he showed up in that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I told you in the live earlier that day. It's the shootouts suck because it's like you take this whole 60-minute effort, you condense it down into individual effort, and a lot's riding on the goalie. And dude, that's one of the hardest things to play as a tender, like a 1-on-0. Like that's really, really hard. It's difficult to do. So I'm not a fan of it because it can expose things, and then also we put value on it. You know what I mean? Like we put value on how they play in the shootout. But I mean, I don't know. It's neither here nor there at the end of the day because we got to decide the game. But I thought he played pretty decent.
Yeah, big things coming. Speaking of Brendan Holtby, though, how sick was it to see that he's reunited with Schmidt up there in Vancouver? He didn't look too bad. I know he caused some controversy early with the helmet logo and stuff, but I think he's suiting well there for his 1-year tenured. Don't you agree?
For sure, I do, man. I think he's going to find. I mean, he's a number one. We knew he's a top 5 goalie anywhere in the league. He's a starter anywhere he goes. We knew that. All he has to do is just mesh with his team, get comfortable because he's one of the, like we already talked about. He's already one of the most calm, centered, collected goalies there is out there in the market. You know what I mean? And I feel like he brings that sense of confidence to the ice, you know?
It's sad that he catches heat for the way he shakes off errors. Because people are so used to dwelling on their mistakes. To see somebody instantly be like, I don't give a fuck, to something that you're still like, it just irritates people. But like, I love that. I've always preached that. People are like, oh, what the fuck? I'm like, good. He's already ready for the next joint. He's not even worried about it. So I think that's a great thing to mention about how the type of goalie Holtby is. You know what I'm saying? To his character.
And imagine what that brings to the locker room for the rest of the guys too. Just knowing that your goaltender's that way, like shit.
Yeah, you're right. Because I was gonna say that speaking of locker room, when Schmitty got brought over, he chirped Schmitty, and like that's what they were saying is like that's the type of guy you get in the locker room with Holtby. Like he brings that locker room type welcoming feel, you know. So he's a good guy to be around. I'm sorry to cut you off there.
No, he's definitely an asset to any team for sure. I feel like he's got 3 to 4 more years still as a starting tender, no problem. You know what I mean? I feel like he's definitely can be an asset to any team who's in need of a tender.
Easily could win a cup still when he goes to Seattle.
Absolutely. I can't, man. All we do, man, just goalies, and I think Seattle's really going to be. There's so many thoughts with.
It's like a conspiracy. Right the goalies and the trades and the free.
I can't even finish a sentence.
And the trades, I can't take it.
Yeah, when Seattle's brought up, I'm just like, I just start short circuit. I'm like, they're just going to steal everyone again. They're just like, they're
taking my gold. The scouts were at the game versus Pittsburgh, and we know they want Osh, baby.
Scouts. What if he just tanks this season? He's like, sorry, Lavi, baby. You want me to stay? We got to have a bad one.
And then they show an interview of him talking about Chara. What's he wearing? Fucking Seattle Seahawks shit. And I'm just like, you animal.
Yeah, man. Scouts. You can just check tape. Scouts. What is this?
Yeah, don't show up to our games and get us shook in the boots there. I'm glad he's playing like shit and hasn't scored yet. Dropping value, but nobody wants you. Come back again next year with us.
Yeah, we'll see, man. So they're Seattle's definitely going to be a game changer in the league. And Vegas is exempt, right, from being pulled.
Yeah,
like they're still
that was part of their entry level contract. Their lawyer fucking worked up a deal like a magician.
Yeah, it was definitely a good deal.
You no pick from us. We know you come in behind us. You no pick.
So I didn't plan on talking about this, but since we brought it up, Caps, how it goes is when the draft lottery comes in is Seattle drafts up to 2 players from each organization. Is it up to 2 or is it just 1?
I thought it was 1.
I thought it was 1 too.
All right, so they're drafting 1 player from
that guy. We talked about this already. That guy. Come on.
So they're drafting 1 player from each organization, and each organization can lock 7 players, correct? As like they get a franchise tag where they're untouchable
during this venture. Yeah, I don't know how, but what happens with does Ovi have to be under contract then? Because whoopsies.
Oh, for sure, and that's the thing we were talking about, Connor McMichael. So is there a certain thing with his contract where what if he doesn't get the certain amount of games in the NHL, he plays more games in the AHL? Is he eligible to be snagged? You know what I mean? Like there's some fine line we got to learn. That's a good
question, because what if Seattle pulled some sneaky shit and just went after everybody's draft picks that have been developing or ready to come up now, and we'll just take all of them that are ready and just build our team around that. That would be so dirty,
college
right?
Hockey team though. It would be a dirty move, but that'd be like a college.
But we know who they brought in
leadership
as their coach. We talked about this. Their skills instructor is the best of the best. He's gonna have these guys and no problem.
Yeah.
Like these raw, uncoached talent. Bring them. We make machines. Seattle becomes this fucking communist fucking hockey team that runs this shit like USSR.
What were you gonna say, Steve?
I was gonna say you would hope every fucking organization's on top of that and not gonna no way whether Ovechkin's contract or not is solidified yet. He's not going anywhere. Seattle's not about to scoop him up.
Human error. Human error happens. I'm not saying they're going to get Ovechkin, but I'm saying human errors. How many times has a player been drafted through all these great scouts that have watched him and he's a fucking dud? How many times have we traded for somebody and that player goes to another team and goes to win a Stanley Cup and we're sitting here with our fucking ass in our hands with a player that's in the fucking KHL the next league? Like shit happens. That's all I'm saying.
Nope, absolutely, man. I agree. So here's the thing is, if we can only lock down 7 players, who are we thinking that the 7's going to be? I mean, this is everyone from OV to Samsonov, you know what I mean?
Let's do that. Let's go down the list. Let's start with Steve.
Yeah.
Steve, who's your 7 on the Washington Capitals you're saving from Seattle?
Let's do this to make it easier. Let's do a collective group as a 7. Let's agree on 7 players.
All right, number 1.
We would keep.
Number 1.
Number 1, OV. Let's just call it.
If he's under contract, yes. Ovechkin.
Yeah, let's call it easy. All right, number 2. We got a Nicholas Backstrom. Number 2, right?
Oh, Kuznetsov. Sorry, Nicky has value right now because he's playing well and he's not too old. Oh wait, we're not trading. What am I talking about?
Yeah, it's plucking. That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's plucking. It's so different, right?
So who we locking? So OV, Kuzi, Backstrom. Let's just say OV, Kuzi, Backstrom.
Lock down the centers and the winger. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Vrana.
Yeah.
Tom Wilson.
Willie.
Tom Wilson is in top 5.
Willie.
With Vrana. Yeah.
John Carlson.
Well, no, I'm saying if we've already picked forwards for our top 5 and we got 7, we got to go goalie. And if Sammy's the guy who's supposed to be, we got to take Sammy here.
Man, if you want my honest, I'd take Vancheck over Sammy. It's only 3 games.
Well, that's a different conversation. But let's say the season goes well for Sammy. We're at the end of the season.
Okay, so
everything
Sammy,
went well. You got to take our
So
goalie.
Sammy, and then who? Carlson. Carlson's going to be our big defensive lockdown.
Yeah, all the rest of our D, I have no problem getting rid of. Charles only short tenure. Schultz just got here. Orlov hasn't really fucking been worth a fuck in my eye.
Let him take Orlov.
Exactly. Take Orlov. I'll give up Orlov. You know what I'm saying? So no, we don't have anybody that's big. And if they can't take our rooks, Fair Harvey singing all the then I like that. I'm okay.
That's what I mean. So what if? So now here's the wrench. What if we have to protect Connor McMichael? What if that becomes a scenario, and we have to protect Connor McMichael? So right there, we're
gone because
leaving.
yes, he's played well. He's shown greatness in his league, but he's not a certified NHLer stud yet. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather put my money with someone that I know. Hey, Lars Eller's done 20+ goals six seasons in a row. I'm taking that guy over the kid that did good in the QMJHL or AHL.
Right. Yeah, it really sucks that the biggest that the. So what about Vrana? Did we say Vrana?
We said Vrana. He's in our top 5 with Willie, Nicky, Kuzi, and Ovi.
Yeah, you're correct. Yes, the only person we left out of that top was basically Oshie.
And they're not going to take Kempney. He's always fucking hurt.
Nah, Kempney's gone, son. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. So Oshie is, I mean, he's the best available player on the Capitals. Essentially, that's not going to be locked down offensively.
Maybe the way they're playing right now, if we're based off the games we've seen so far, it's fair to say that Lars Eller is playing a better game than TJ Oshie.
Very true. That's what we were talking. We talked about that earlier. It could be a solid toss-up.
And real talk,
depends on what they need.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they need a good third line center, or maybe they want to take Eller as their second line center, depending on where they're going. Eller has always got energy. He's a heavy forechecker. He's got hands. He can finish. And why not? If he's hot right now, because he's consistent. Like I said, that's why I brought him up when I brought up consistency, because he is consistent. You expect him to get 10+ goals, 15+ goals every season. Right. You're expecting your third line center Eller to do that. So if he has a good season this year and Oshie doesn't, do you still say, no, we know Oshie's good, it's just a bad year? Or do you take Eller who's hot?
Because Oshie's coming in on the tail end here. Like, we know he doesn't have he doesn't have like a 5-7 year contract coming to him. It's going to be, a 2-3 year deal, in my opinion. I definitely think he's definitely on the tail end here, which him going to Seattle could free up some cap space for us. But I mean, it's almost like now we're putting some eggs in the McMichael basket, and we're hoping he can get developed.
We have a lot going on in that basket though, because as all this is going on, we're still in fucking contract talk with Ovi. We got Nicky aging now. Is Kuzi gonna fucking do something, or is he fucking trade bait too? Like, there's a lot of unanswered questions that are about to. We're all in this season. Like, we're at our max fucking of bullshit capacity. You know what I'm saying? So like, if it doesn't work this year, bye Chara, bye Lundqvist. Sorry, it didn't work out. Glad the heart surgery went well. Ovi, what are you doing? You bullshitting? You staying the night? What's going on? Okay, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of shit's gonna have to fucking play out. And so like, I don't know, man. This season, there's a lot riding on this fucking season. There really is for our franchise.
I think time will tell. I think Ovi's not going anywhere. They're gonna sign a deal. I think it's gonna be a fat deal, which might put us in a bind for the next 3 to 4 years. But I think it's in my opinion, we've talked about this before. I think it's Ovi getting a little bonus time. You know what I mean? He made DC a hockey town. This post Ovi generation of the Capitals team coming up is going to be different.
It's approaching. It's approaching.
Yeah, it's going to be different, and I really hope the heat doesn't fall off, because I feel like everyone. Did you hear about it? I just remember in the Stanley Cup, in just the run. Did you hear about Ovechkin? Did you hear? And I was just happy to see that many people were engaged, with the sport.
How great is it to see, though? I said this in a group text. Our second line is our future. Kuzi, Willie, and Vrana. How great is it to see them playing? Wilson is a fucking stud. I know everyone hates him. He is a fucking stud, and he is growing and getting better and better every year. His hockey IQ, his forecheck is unfucking real. He's laying up on the hits. Like, how smart was that on that forecheck? Old Willie would have fucking smashed him. He held up a little bit, bumps him easy to put himself in a position for the puck instead of making the big hit. Boom, goal. Like, come on. Wilson is a stud. He is a fucking top line winger. he's producing, you know what I'm saying? On top of Verana, who is a sniper with fucking wheels, who, if he can get fucking strength behind him, is faster than McDavid. Like, we've seen this kid bust. You know what I'm saying? If he can develop and mature, he just turns it on. He'll be skating right next to him, and then, okay, bye. And it's just like 4 steps, and he's behind him. Like, to see our second line producing like that, the way they look, other than Kuzi, and we're going to talk about him here shortly, especially with him using 3 different sticks this game. But it's crazy, bro. It's good to see, and I'm at the point now where it's like, if Ovi wants to be a douche about money because he's won his stuff already, see ya, bud. I know he wants, and then that's the great thing about Ovechkin and who he is. I think he'll take a pay cut to stay. In essential, like if he wants 9 and they're like, we'll give you 8.5, okay, I'll take 8.5 to stay in the city.
No, I certainly hope so, man. But to watch that line, Wilson I love it how hateable he is, because you can't even compare him to any goons, because these other guys like Reeves, they don't have half the skill that Willie has.
He's the next level enforcer.
The next level enforcer. The kid's a low key sniper. Did you see his snipe today? Like, dude, back bar down. Like, this guy, and it's a laser, dude. It was one hell of a shot, and that whole play, like, was exactly what you said. That forecheck and not overbearing, the proper smart play. He, like you said, could have creamed him, didn't. Played the body, bumped the puck, made the option happen.
He looks faster, dude. He looks a little faster this season.
He's got wheels,
His wheels are moving, man. But they're like you said, they're moving. He's playing smart. He's not just bull in a china closet, just fucking smashing, dude. You know, nice soft bump, boom, get the puck, make the play.
You know what makes him look faster, too? What I noticed it makes him look faster is his puck control. You know, he doesn't have to slow down to handle the puck. Like, he can have that stride. Like, that's what I mean. They're
not there yet. He's still
but he's still progressing, though, man. Yeah. He's definitely a playmaker, a play changer. Definitely an asset to the team, and any organization can take a guy like that.
I agree with that, though. I think he moves well with the puck, and you know, I mean, he's not the finesse guy, but
here's the thing: the way he's developing, we're seeing him every year get better and better. Who's to say that now he's got his speed down, he's got all this other shit down? Now he takes a Sidney Crosby approach, where we know Sid would work on one thing every off season and perfect it. You know, face offs, whatever it may be. Next year he works on all hands. I've got my weight right. I've got my legs right, my body control, my IQ's right. I'm gonna focus on my hands this off summer, and comes back, and now his hands are. Oh my God, that's what I'm saying. Man. This kid is developing. He's still young. People don't realize that shit. He's still young.
Yeah,
like he is developing into a first line winger, hands down. Unreal.
Dude, that line is unreal. That whole line. Verana's so. Oh my God, his wheels, dude. His fucking release. Whew.
Yes, it's so sick. He went the same spot versus Buffalo. Not to talk over you. He went the same spot versus Buffalo. That he owns that spot. That's unreal.
Pick that glove, son. That shot, that release, the shot mid stride, son. Like it's no trouble for him. You know what I mean? And to have that release so fast, it's definitely impressive. I'm excited for the future of that. So speaking of the Caps and the Pens, how do you feel? Do you feel that Laviolette finally got to see what it's like to be part of the Capitals when they lose to the Penguins? Like, just to see the little bounces, the calls, just like every little thing worked out in the Pens' favor. Again, the freak goal 20 seconds into the game. I mean, what do you think, Laviolette's like? I fucking get it, boys. I fucking get it. I see the thorn in your Paul's back. You know, like it's so classic Penguins Caps rivalry bullshit.
Oh yeah, like you said, 20 seconds in, he's like, "Oh fuck, what did I sign up for?"
Yeah, man, it's what it is what it is. It's the ebbs and flow of us and the Pens, man. It's unfortunate. I got to talk about it. That goal, you guys both seem to just agree with it hitting the camera and coming out. I'm telling you, man, I swear to God, the corner of that puck just hit the corner of the puck hit the downside of the bar and came out. I don't think it hit the camera.
No way, dude. You see the camera move. That's the thing.
Do you? Why didn't we see the camera angle where they're looking at Samsonov's ass and I can watch the camera jolt like that, like this, like when you hit it and it jolts like that. Like, how come I can't see that? Show
new
me the camera.
The new in the board camera on the corner there. They just installed it last Tuesday. My mom had them inside and they cut out the board and put the camera. The new camera angle.
Just installed it.
I like it though. Anyways, looks like a little bird
Oh,
looking
well.
through a peep glass. Tweet, 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 tweet.
I'm not convinced. I can't believe that went
You're
to
just
Toronto.
you're just always assume everyone's up to no good, like the government.
Up to no good.
Let's change gears. Let's do it right now. I brought it up. Let's change gears. Let's get Stevie involved here. Josh has some big news for us, folks. He has done an investigation. He has
What are we diving into? The aliens.
We're back.
Aliens.
We're back. The feds are
All right.
listening.
All right, so I've got three things here. I wanted to save the aliens. I wanted to save the aliens because this is going to be this is going to be a rabbit hole journey. So before we get to that, I've got to share this coffee story that happened to me at 7-Eleven. So,
bro, why are you getting 7-Eleven coffee?
Look, I was out in Virginia, deep out there, like out past Chantilly.
Think I know what?
No, 7-Eleven, exactly. No, not up there.
Trash, yeah.
So look, I hop out the truck. I'm like, all right, let me just get a cup of coffee and just get this. Like I got to drive all the way from now Chantilly to Rockville. I'm like, all right, let me just grab this cup of coffee, get fired up, go have this little chit chat, and get back to work. So I walk into 7-Eleven, say hi to the people working there. There's like one other guy in there. Go to the little coffee station. Everyone sees the coffee station. I'm looking. They got this espresso machine. I'm like, all right, bet, getting a shot of espresso. And I see all the containers. I'm like, oh, 7-Eleven exclusive, medium brown roast, whatever. And I walk around the back, and there's this new blue container of coffee, and it says Power Boost Coffee. And I'm like, well, listen, I'm a guy who likes to have some power boost. So let's read the side of this jug and see what's going on here. Power Boost got taurine, B12, caffeine,
chlorine.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, bet. I'm like, this coffee's the thing. I look at this dude. I'm like, yo, is this coffee good? And this fellow who's working there is a little Oriental fellow. He's like, yeah, coffee's good, a lot of power. It's good for you. I'm like, all right, bet, dude. Like, so I went and I got my little shot of espresso, and I walk over to the coffee, and he's still standing there, and he like looks at me. I look at him, and I pull the handle, and it's this hot blue liquid is coming out, and I'm like, and I look at him, I'm like, blue coffee. And he's like, he goes, yeah, blue coffee, power blue, very strong. I'm like, blue coffee. He's like, yeah. He goes, yeah, it's blue coffee. I'm like, I'm skeptical, but I'm like, look, it's 2021. I guess the coffee's fucking blue now. I don't know. So I pull the handle, I fill it up, and I'm just like, blue coffee. I sniff it. I'm like, okay, Corona, still don't have my sense of smell. I'm like, it's hot liquid. I don't know what I'm working with here.
Tell me you tried it, right?
And I look at him, I'm like, blue coffee. And I say it again. He's like, yeah, blue coffee. I'm like, I guess I'll put some creamer in my blue coffee. So I set my cup down, and I'm opening up this creamer. And this little lady comes from behind the counter, and she's like, no. She goes, I'm cleaning. It was a fucking detergent pod cycle that went through the coffee thing, bro. And I was about to put 4 creamers in it and just go about my day.
Oh my God. Oh my God, bro. You should sue them. That's my first American thought. But secondly,
that's what the chick said.
Whoa.
I was like, damn. I was like, okay. So then I poured it out, and I was like, this. But he was like, I'm sorry. I was like, yeah, motherfucker, blue coffee, bro.
I'm blown away in 2 aspects here. The first being, fuck, I really was gonna go try some blue coffee, and the second being, like, this guy almost assassinated you, bro.
Yeah, just imagine, dude. I couldn't imagine the repercussions. It had to be instant vomiting and diarrhea, right?
I would have called the cops. Like, this guy just tried to make me drink fucking a Tide Pod.
I'm like, what did he do? I don't know. Like, how whack? Thank God she came around the corner, because I was pot committed at that point. And then,
why did it take her putting cream in it? The point where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna.
Well, I think she just like.
She see it when you were doing cream. It's already in the cup. Like, that's
half and half deep.
I think she had maybe overheard the last part, because I kept, like, I'm telling you, man, I said blue coffee like 10 times. Like, that's what you're stuck on. Like, blue coffee. And I feel like maybe she just heard, because like I was standing next to it, because where it was like a solo thing. And I was like, but the bars were full, like the bar level was full. And I was like, I guess it's thing. And I'm like, you guys should put like a fucking sign on this thing. Or, like, turn the handle off.
You could have been millions. You should have act like you fucking drank some.
No, I just got a cool story.
And taking a picture, and then you're fucking rich. And we never see you again. This podcast dies.
Yeah, it was quite an
All
experience.
because of
And then
blue coffee.
on top of it, I'm like, all right, well, let me get the fuck out of here. So I get my proper cup of coffee, and I'm trying to like check out the register. And of course, the fucking slide. At first, I just try to do the tap because like I try not to put my card and everything. So I got to press all these buttons. Try to do the tap. She's like, oh, the tap no work. I'm like, okay, that's on par. So I go to put the chip in. And it like 4 attempts at the chip. And I'm like, I'm just sitting here. And you guys know me. I'm like starting to fume. And I'm like, we have all this technology at our fingertips and none of it works. Like, how are we supposed to move forward as a society when I can't even check out with my blue coffee?
This
like,
is not a coffee story. This is a fucking nightmare in 7-Eleven story.
I'm just like, I want to get out of here. So then like I put in my PIN number. She's like, okay, swipe it. I'm like, fuck all 3 angles here. Okay, let's go back to old school. Swipe it. I put my PIN in and she's like, declines. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, something's fucking up here. And I'm like, she's like, can I use this register? And she's like, yes. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to delete 1 coffee off the fucking thing. Sorry, it's going to take so much work. Then, I just got in my truck and then kept working. But that's just a typical morning. Like, that's not the blue coffee part. But if there's a hard way, I'll find it. That's for fucking sure.
Man, hallelujah, you're still here with us, bro. You almost because you know what I would have done, right? I would have done the same thing. Blue coffee, poured it. Blue coffee, poured it. But I would have been like, well, I don't know if I need creamer. Let me try it. I would have already tried it. That's why I was like,
you would have gone right in for it.
I would have been like, okay, blue coffee. Because is it good? I'll pour more. You know?
Right.
Wow. Good for you for just trusting some random man that didn't speak English very well.
Yeah, maybe it's something I'll
reconsider. And you're like, okay, friend, this is America. Joe Biden's America. Okay, friend.
Blue coffee.
I almost died in a 7-Eleven.
Fuck,
2021 is real.
Yeah, it starts off aggressive, but the blue coffee caught me off guard, man. But so that was something that happened to me. That was the first really fun thing that happened to me. I was just like, oh, that was an exciting journey trying to get a cup of coffee.
Holy shit.
Yeah, good times.
Steve, you've been awfully fucking quiet here, bud.
I'm just listening to the blue coffee story, man. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty fucking funny.
You have a couple trips to 7-Eleven pretty often. You can agree, like, this blue coffee has never been seen, huh? You ever seen?
No, if I saw blue coffee, I'd probably just pour that shit out and go for a different bin. I'd be like,
yeah, I'd go for a decaf before I do blue coffee. I'll tell you that right now.
So, so that's what I mean. I don't feel like I was an idiot for like. I mean,
no, you were. Yeah, you were. Yeah, blue coffee. Like, no, what the fuck? What the fuck? Blue coffee.
My confidence is growing.
Well, it's not now. I'm telling you, we talk about coffee with pride on these fucking podcasts, and you know that.
I know, man.
And
but
for you to fall for the old blue coffee is very good.
Yeah. How many times you ran in the old blue coffee scenario?
Never. Because I know it's not blue coffee. It wasn't even called blueberry or anything. It's just very strong. He said very strong. Very strong blue coffee. Very strong. Like, what does it even mean? Did it say protein power?
Have you had the blueberry? Yeah, dog. I saw it said taurine, B12, and I'm like, you know what? I like taurine. You know what? I like more vitamin B12 in my day. Like, why wouldn't I try the power coffee?
Big J would have been on the floor filming for the mouth. Fucking just
taurine the bathroom, fucking shitting everywhere.
Well, that doesn't take much to do for this guy. We know that.
No, I'm having some intestinal pains and cramps. I don't know if you guys can see me moving around over here.
Yeah, it's the fish tacos I told you about when we went live. I was like, don't get the fish tacos. We won't be able to record. I'm a professional here.
I think it was the 40 oysters I ate from my stomach. It's fucking rumbling. I'm like, I'm starting to get uncomfortable.
Might be.
Yeah, man. All you can eat oysters. How do you turn it down?
I say no thanks after the third plate. You don't gotta go 4 or 5.
So I did do a raw batch.
Yeah, that's how I like them.
You like them raw?
Lemon and chuck them. Squint.
Lemon. Interesting.
Swirl a lemon on them and chuck them.
I'm a
Sometimes
vinegar.
I'd probably be good. Lemon on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a vinegar. I showed Stevie it today. I'm a vinegar, onion, and hot sauce type of guy.
Onion? What do you chop onions on the side of your plate?
Yeah, I asked for it. I asked. I'm like, yo, can you? I'm like, I'm going to be a douche. Can you hook me up with, like, that's, thank God we know all the bartenders, like, everywhere we go.
Who was bartending?
Like, Our friend Jessica, shout out to Jessica, by the way, at Port.
No free fucking plugs here. No, Jessica. Don't listen ever again. We're not plugging you.
But I was like, I'm gonna be an asshole. Can you ask him to chop something? And she's like, yeah, no problem. She goes, I get it. I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, it's not, that's what happens when when you're nice to people and everything. They take care of you. So
They take care of you when you fucking leave your fucking card there every Friday. And you got to toilet outside. They fucking know you, you know.
So I said we haven't seen him since summer. We haven't seen anyone in that bar since summer, and they were happy to see us. So
Nope.
it's a good sign. And
it's a good sign when I'm seeing you in 9 months and like, you're here.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So definitely, I don't think I'm going to be spending as much time down there, but it's definitely good to see them. I'm glad
that place has so many memories in my heart.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, man, when I go back to Southern Maryland in like a year, maybe 2, whatever it may be, and I go back there, I said it's going to be so weird because the bartenders will still be the same. It'll be so weird.
So much emotion. But I'm joshing. It is nice though, man. It's nice to be at home like that, have a little homie home. But we got to talk about this before we get to the aliens. One more thing. Have you seen this thing, Surviving Death, on Netflix? Have you guys taken a dive into that yet?
No.
Okay.
No, the Steven answer, no.
You guys both need to, and so especially you, because this is people that listen, man. I'm about to blow your mind.
All right, let them talk.
Surviving this fucking podcast. Fuck you guys.
Fuck you.
Fuck you guys. I'm trying to tell you a cool story.
We got the fucking we got the mute down here. Steve-O is just down here just to fucking listen, and then when you go to talk, he's like, no.
Yeah, it just chirps me.
Yeah.
Surviving Death on Netflix. Check it out. It's about people's experiences with near-death experiences, actually dying, and then people having
actually dying, and they have an interview after to get. What does that mean? After
here you go. I'm gonna spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. Keep watching. So one of the first people they interview on the documentary is this woman. She was kayaking. She gets pinned underwater under a rock for 30 minutes. Underwater under a rock for 30 minutes. She knows she's dead. She literally says like she like knows when she goes under and she hits the rock and she's like, okay. She goes, this isn't good. And she knows that she's gonna die. So she's like, she accepts that she's gonna die, and she says in this interview post life, because she's alive, she says in the interview that she saw herself underwater, like she could see herself like there, and she was out of her body, right? And she explains how she went towards the light, and she was just in this field of endless flowers, and just like she felt really, really at peace, like she felt warm, she felt safe. And she talks about this, right? And this woman has been dead for 30 minutes. Like this woman was dead for 30 minutes. And then out of nowhere, so everyone that she was kayaking with is searching for her, including her fiance. They're all searching for her body because they haven't found her body, right? And they finally, 30 minutes later, the current and shit finally lets her go, and they find her body, and she's bloated, she's blue. Like her eyes are almost hanging out of her head. Like you can tell she's ingested water, and they start working on her. Like they start CPR and they start giving, mouth to mouth. And she said in that moment, like she could see them working on her. Like she could see that they found her body. So like, it was almost like she described it as she could like see a window this way, but when she would look this way, it was like bliss. You know what I mean? Like she wasn't looking back on life, like when she was just looking at the next world or whatever. It was like bliss. She's in this field of flowers. And then she said she felt like it wasn't her time. And the next thing you know, she's back alive, bro. Like they revived her. They had to get her into a hospital. And and it was like it was like out of a movie. So they're 10 miles away from a vehicle at this point, right? The first part they come to, there happens to be an ambulance parked there. Like there just happens to be an ambulance parked at the first place they checked. Ambulance drives to the hospital. This woman makes a full recovery, no brain damage, no physical body damage. Because, at a time like, usually what happens when the people have like strokes or heart attacks or anything like that, and they go unconscious and they die, you know, they don't have oxygen for little as 30, 45 seconds, and they technically die, you know, they flatline and pass away. You know, their brain, when your brain doesn't get oxygen like that, usually you end up getting some type of brain damage. You've got to learn how to walk again and stuff like that because your body starts to shut down. She had none of that, bro. So it's a wild documentary that touches on that. And I just wanted
That's
to
the
see.
first episode.
There's only one. It's only one thing. It's heavy, right?
So I have to assume then this
Yeah.
woman, the way she talked, is she saw some type of heaven.
She's spiritual. So she's, like she said,
That's
from
what
what
I'm
I can
saying.
remember, she wasn't religious, but she was just spiritual. Like where she felt.
A lot of people are saying that these days. They're not religious, they're spiritual. Like everyone believes there's something more, there's something inside type stuff. That's kind of interesting for her to have that
Which I
experience,
think is
say that and not commit to one thing.
Right. And which I think of, and when you think about it, and that's because that's the way I like to describe it. Like I was a devout Catholic Christian for a long time. And now, you know, and I still do. I have my tendencies where I still believe that. We've had this discussion before. Where like I believe in, I still have Christianity in my roots, but I also am a very spiritual, yin and yang type of person, very karma based, energy based. Like I believe
You're
very
not
much
cut
in
and
that
dry.
as well.
Like to refresh. Like you believe in JC?
I don't know. That's the thing, is I don't know. It's a tough walk for me. Do I believe in like a God, like I would believe in God. Do I believe, I mean, Jesus Christ could have walked this earth as a normal man, you know what I mean? And and his work and what do they call those things, miracles and stuff like that. Those miracles are possible, and maybe he did have some extra you know, ability that he was blessed with, and you know, like doubled fish and doubled bread and fed all these people. That those stories are possible, but it's also a book. It's a written piece of history, you know, and that stuff can be changed over years. And I think it's more of a guideline storybook in my mind.
How far does your creator go? Did he create the planets? Did he create space? Where does he stop?
So I don't know, because that's the thing, is because science is something that interests me. Like I do believe, we talk a lot about science and we talk about that aspect of life, and if you want my God's honest opinion, that's funny to say the God's honest opinion, but if you want my opinion, I would say there's just as good of a chance that there is a God as that we really came from a big bang. In my mind, it's 50-50. Who knows? Like who really knows? But
there's no one determining factor so far that is thus that, especially now with the next subject we're going to bring up, the fact that there's other life.
Yeah, and this is exactly why I had it written. This is why I had my notes in this purpose, guys.
I fucking try to ruin it. We get it.
There's a method to my madness.
I want to get to the goods early, girl. I ain't going down. I'm going straight raw.
So that brings us into to extraterrestrials, alien life forms of some type, which have been officially exposed that there is a form of life or forms of life, and we have had contact, and they've been to this planet per the United States government. They for whatever reason, they made it part of this wacky, the COVID bill that was 5,000 pages long. They decided that, you know what, let's just declassify the UFO information. The American public's ready for it. So this brings a lot of questions to mind. I would say, let's save the deep part for the end. And you know, let's say we can save where we think obviously there, but
that just brings up so many questions with them admitting it. Like if we as a government, let's talk about in that aspect, as the government aspect, if we are acknowledging it and know they've been there, then you have to assume that they've been in contact with Russia and China,
or any
what aren't they telling us that they do know?
Well, that's the thing. This was exposed, number one, by as a former head of technology Israeli government ranking official. So this was declassified by him first, because supposedly Donald Trump was going to spill the beans on this. Like in an interview he had, he goes, "I've got ready for it. That's why we haven't told the public. Like we don't think they can mentally handle it, because." You know, if an alien sighting does happen, now if you get people that live, number one, you could have a multiple turnouts. You could have people that turn to a phantom. Is that the right word? Phantom? Oh, famine, not like phantom. Famine mindset.
You cut out, bro. I don't know what just happened, but it could cut out on me.
Where'd you lose me?
Donald Trump.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I could hear you.
You heard every single word.
Yeah.
That's weird. It went
That's
weird.
why. So Donald Trump. I can go back to. So Donald Trump was originally supposed to spill the beans on this alien stuff because he had said in an interview that he had some interesting information about Roswell, New Mexico, where these sightings had been. That apparently that area had high traffic for UFO sightings and stuff back in the day, but it was actually an Israeli government guy who spilled the beans on this stuff. So it makes you question. And before we get too deep with it, where we talk about creation and stuff like that, the reason why I feel like they didn't tell us before or anything like that is because this could put people in different mindsets. If people know that there's aliens out there and we don't know if they're friendly, if they're going to be aggressive, are they coming to watch us? Are they coming to observe? Are they coming for material?
Are we their experiment?
Yeah, who knows? That's what I mean. So who would knows? But the reason why I feel like they've been holding off so long is because it kind of can present multiple mindsets. One being a famine mindset. Let's go get supplies. We don't know when this could happen any day. It could turn into like an Armageddon type mindset. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it could happen any day, but let's prepare for it. Two, it could make people be like willy-nilly, like, oh well, why am I preparing for anything if there's alien? You know what I mean? If there's aliens, the world could end any minute. So people could prepare for life that way. So that's a very sensitive subject because, like you said, let's bring it into creation. What would aliens be coming here for other than to observe us or maybe to interfere? Like, that they know that we're on the brink of something.
Yeah, maybe millions of years in the future, mankind does something that kills everything. And they're like, we have to go back to this time, like we've seen in movies, like art imitates reality. Like,
right.
Maybe it is that simple. Maybe we do really keep evolving to the point where we destroy everything because that's what we do. And now we could fucking destroy wherever
in
we're
100
at.
years. 100 years, we've look how far we've come and look how much damage we've done.
Was talking about that with my chick the other night. I was like, it's crazy to think about the time frame of like early man to pyramid is longer than us now to pyramid.
Yeah.
Because it was so long, like nothing was happening. Man wasn't evolving. It was just existing. And then all of a sudden we have the pyramids and then boom, it's like a rocket. We shoot up. And I asked her the question because I was stuck on it. And I was like, what changed? What happened that caused us to go from we can barely communicate with each other to now we're fucking writing, we're reading, we have fire, we're, you know what I'm saying, roads, we have maps, like it boom to cell phones and laptops and what we're doing now. Like that time period, what happened?
It's wild to think. It's wild to think about it. I feel like it happened overnight. It was just there, and it's almost how people treat it. Like it's supposed to be there forever. Like these things could never go away.
These things being what?
Like roads, services, like electricity. Like you understand. Like we don't have a problem with that type of stuff here. Electricity, cell phone, Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we have no issues with that to the point that we have it's under a conspiracy here that the fact that Tesla really had it and we really could have endless power, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's how easy electricity is for us to the point that we're questioning how we even
it. But imagine how little these people can function without electricity. Just for an example, like air conditioning. Not many countries have air conditioning. Like heat, like I mean, every country pretty much has heat because everyone has fire. But air conditioning is a lot different. That's not a commodity.
Yeah, there's people with cars in America that don't have AC. There's people in America that don't have AC. So you're right, 100%. And we're in the best opportunity possible country.
Right. That's what I mean. That's what I'm getting at is like we have all of these things, and we don't even think of it as that. We just think it should be standard.
I know. There's countries that don't have water. There's children that will starve to death because they haven't had water in weeks.
That don't have
and we
water.
take shits daily in water.
In water. There's a gallon per flush. Here's a suck on that turd. Like it's wild. So let's jump into this then. So now there's aliens, there's extraterrestrials, there's UFOs. What does this mean for Christianity? What does this mean for Buddhism? What does this mean for Allah? So are there gods?
That's where my thing goes is if there's
Yeah.
aliens now, that means you have to assume there's always been aliens. If there's always been aliens, then that means maybe this word God and everything that we've come to assume everything was more heavily involved back in the day because they knew these motherfuckers can't communicate. They can't even talk to one another. Let's get them going on the right path early. Let's show them, and then we'll disappear, and they'll have no way of talking about it.
Right.
Is it that type of story, or like what? No way they just showed up in the 50s. Oh, all of a sudden in the 50s, that's when the shit starts in the 50s.
Start flying around.
Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense in that aspect, right? Because if they have there's that far ahead, then the 50s to 1100 BC is really not that large of a margin for them if you think about how far we've come in such a short span.
I was going to say, when you think about time being such a small gap, that's what I said, one generation of life, okay, so 1,000 years, 10,000 years, it's just that time slide. So then what would that mean for you? Like, so what would you think, Steve? Like, what are you are you not based? That's kind of the wrong way to word it. But I mean, do you have a faith-based belief system, or are you like, what are you following there?
I grew up Catholic, and I'm kind of like where you are with it, dude. I don't know, it could be like a 50-50 situation,
Right?
Like I believe in a God, but I also have the an interest in science and believe in the other theories and the science portion of it. But I don't know. I definitely believe in aliens. I think you'd be narrow-minded to not think there's another form of life out there.
But we've also reached the point where religion and science are, both sides are acknowledging each other. We've seen the Vatican acknowledge scientific facts. We've had scientists acknowledge spiritual facts. Like, hey, this happened, and we, as far as science goes, we don't know why. You know what I'm saying? So both sides are starting to come together. You have to realize, and then with this alien thing, it makes you question, like let's just get lost on the humans for just a small glimpse, the way we connect to our planet, the way our eyes can only see certain things, even though there's other things we can only hear frequencies of. So with all that going into play, and then there's another species from another planet, from another time. We know we can take drugs that take us to a different time. We can there's time travel, time lapse. So it's almost like a million stories within one. Does that make sense? We have aliens, but we have time travel. We have time warps. We can do this. We can do this. We have conspiracy. We have it's so wild to really sit. The human mind can't grasp it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's almost one of those scenarios where it's information overload. Like it's too much. Like, well, what about, because it shatters like almost one of your cores. Like it shatters like a pillar at your core of who you are.
Your core beliefs, because especially if you're heavy religion, where you're like, Jesus Christ,
you're like, holy shit. That means, so if there's aliens, that would mean that God developed another planet and Jesus Christ had to die on that planet for their sins.
Exactly. Or it's not real, right? That's the only other issue. You either come up with a million reasons why, or the ultimate, it means this isn't real.
And that's why
that would shatter people.
But that's why faith is what it is. It's faith. It's what you want to put your faith into, but not like, that's what I mean. Basically, in my opinion, all religions, any belief system is all the same. The main thing that they preach is just do good to others, and others will do good unto you. If you just base that around being a good person, the rest of the stuff always seems to be like a control tactic to me. Like the Middle East, the Allah and the book of what is that? The book of, I'm unsure. And then that's not what it's called, but you know what I mean? Like how women can't go to school.
Followers in Asia early.
Yeah, like women have to cover their faces. Like they have to wear the burqas, like as a respect, like they shouldn't, no skin should be shown. That's just some old person who wanted some hard ass fucking rules. That's not from a creator of man. You know what that's just a modification in my mind.
And here we have to ask too, if we're acknowledging aliens, is it as simple? Are we just too stupid to understand? Like, are we just simplifying it? They're from another planet? Or is this more or less they're from a different time? a different portal, a different story? Is there really a million versions of me, of Silky?
Right.
Is there really a million versions of Big J where you're a crackhead, you're a pro Olympic swimmer,
Right.
you're a business CEO? Is there really a million yous and the different stories of every? And then you have to ask, and it's like, well, then are we just pages, letters on a page, like to something bigger? Like the thing that really blew my mind and will always be stuck in my mind. You remember the end of the first Men in Black, where everything goes back to marbles and it shows galaxies inside marbles, and then something's playing with it, and it's just like, is that like, think about how small the things inside our body are, and the things they're able to communicate, they're able to talk, and their nutrients are able to do certain things inside of our body, and they're so microscopic. And are we really that microscopic? Is Earth really just a fucking pebble in someone's shoe, type shit?
Well, I mean, even if you just take go for a flight in an airplane, you just look down, you're like, wow, that's it. Life exists 10 feet above the ground, essentially, and that's it.
Yep.
Like that's our window of survival.
And there's so much more to it. It's so crazy that on the spectrum, when you compare it to, like, it's like, we are so small. Like, we can't leave here. How high can you jump? That's all you're going to be. Right. But by the way, there's this endless black galaxy. Like, space is what really fucking trips me and like gets me into a deep, dark process of thoughts for a week. It's just like, explain space. Like, aliens, we can come up with, okay, something evolved on another planet quicker than us, made of a different material. You know what I'm saying? And traveled. Like, that's not unrealistic. That's what we're doing. We're a body of mush and nastiness with hair and fucking attitude and emotions. That's right. We know how to travel. So that's not unrealistic. But like, when you think about just space doesn't end. That's the thing. That's where we're at right now, right? Like, space doesn't end.
Yeah. So let me I'm gonna touch on a topic that you touched on, which was like how vast and endless it could be as far as different worlds. Like, there could be multiple versions of all of us. So I kind of had this thought not too long ago, because I was thinking about that. What got me into it was a Rick and Morty episode where Morty uses the stone where he can see his future to stay alive, and then he only follows what it does to keep him alive. So like, I was thinking about that, and I was like, so all these alternate universes that could be out there, is that an opportunity, or is that a real thing, or is that what your subconscious or your psyche or something like that, in my mind, could wander to? Because we use our conscious to make a decision. Mm-hmm. I could go left or I could go right. What would happen if I went left? And that alternate universe, and that's what your brain could almost think about, in my mind, is like, oh, that's what would have happened if I went left. But then after that, we just stopped thinking about it because we went right, and now we're focusing on that. But
it's almost as if every choice was either a left or a right, and then if you did all your choices all day because you were in a good atmosphere or a good positive vibe, were left, you're going to be you're going to be way different than if you were having a rough day and all your choices were right.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. So is this alternate are these alternate different versions of ourselves? No, I don't think there's different versions of ourselves, because we are only one being, but that's what's cool about us, is that you can change that thing.
Yeah, but that thing is so confusing. Like, you say, the way you just said that makes it sound so simple. Like we're a soul, we're a spirit or an energy or a vibration. But how does that exist outside of this, where we're at? How does that energy transfer from one zone to another zone, another twilight? Like, how's time travel and time warps, and like, how's all that shit possible? Like, how's there fucking more of my one energy? My one energy should be unique. Yeah. Or am I just a copy? Am I just a fucking simulation?
Man, I don't know.
There's a million copies of me that makes it sound like it's a simulation, and each one is acting out a different one based off the way the results, like a computer program.
Right.
Do you do yes or no? Yes or no. If you hit yes, you have this. If you hit no, you have this. Is that really what this is?
There's a million copies of you. Is there one in the NHL, bud? Can I get some fucking tickets?
For sure. The closest I get is beer league, buddy. That's the best you get.
I don't know, mate. Because that's the thing is we'll never know until we are just on that vibrational plane, in my opinion. And that's what I mean. And like that woman just saying she was in a field of flowers and she just felt at home. Like, is that, since there's no
Is that-
physical body, is that heaven? Like, is that what?
That's what I'm thinking. Is that your
what-
subconscious? What it knows is good. Okay, you relate flowers to love, and you know what I'm saying, good things. So that's what
Right.
your subconscious is projecting. So that's what you see, even though you're just a spike in a chart and a frequency. And how long does that last? That's it? Like for just like the time never ends. That's all you see. You have this flower patch of you just feeling good. If you know what I'm saying.
So let me ask you both this.
We're
So when
so
you
deep.
I know. So when your life is literally on the brink of ending, and let's say it's because of a car accident or something traumatic, and your body is and your brain is releasing all this dopamine to just relax your brain and just try to put you in this scenario where you're not there. Now, do you think, so maybe for a good person like her, when her dopamine was rushing, she was okay with death? Like,
Yes,
you know what
I've
I mean?
always wondered that. This is a great subject because this is where the DMT comes into a play. Our brain creates this super hallucinogenic drug. Is that death? Is that the brain's way of dealing with death? Like we've evolved to this species to where we know death exists and we try to prevent it at all costs. So is that its last plan B? Is
there's
ecstasy? More. Okay.
So so that's heaven. Okay. So is that something that only happens to someone who can process it? And what I mean by that is, if there's a serial killer and he's on death row and he's getting a lethal injection, right? Do you think, like, what he sees, I mean, his brain is trying to release this dopamine chemical, right? But obviously, some serial killers and just bad people and stuff like that, there's a bit of an imbalance of chemicals in that person's brain anyway, right? Like depression and suicidal thoughts and like being just psychotic and sociopathic behavior, right? Those are, if you believe science as well as just pure other things, those people have chemical imbalances in their brains which make them act, and it doesn't help their attitude, right? We're on the same path here. You tracking?
Yeah.
So now
some people are chemically imbalanced, and that's what.
So what happens? So now what happens when that person dies? Does that person's, because they have a chemical imbalance? I'm imagining Charles Manson isn't seeing himself in a field of flowers. You know, like what?
That's a very interesting thing.
Imagine a darker scene.
That's what I mean. So his pure bliss might be hell because of what he did to other people.
That would mean then that's a chemical thing, and he can't change that. That means he would have, you know what I'm saying? That was from birth. He can't change that. That means he doesn't have the choice. In that case, it eliminates
but just trauma.
The power of creator.
I'm talking that's through trauma, because trauma is something that shapes every single one of us.
Charles Manson also is heavily influenced from the government.
So that was a bad example, but you know what I'm getting. I'm just trying to say an example of bad people.
Someone that's not there mentally their whole life because of things that have happened that cause them to act that way, like a woman after it's traumatic, like rape incident or something. She's not gonna be right in her head. Some things like that. Yeah, 100%. But so you think they have to live in hell because of these things? Don't yawn.
No, but maybe it would be hell to us, right? But it's their heaven.
Oof,
like that's what I mean. What's their version?
And that's assuming there's a heaven. Is heaven just an example for the good vibration you feel when you're dopamine? But that comes back to what I was just saying. The dopamine is just, I think, like, I want to be spiritual. I want to believe there's more. But at the end of the day, every time DMT comes into the play, there's no explanation for it. And the explanation to me is that's our plan B. That's the conscious plan B. When it knows, it realizes, like, there's no way out. I know the percentages. It's like a computer. I know the percentages. There's no way out. Okay, create this. And then it allows us to just
that's that
5, 10, 20 minutes, whatever it may be, during this bliss. And then that's what we have to assume, because no one everyone that's had these stories where they're like, I saw a light and I felt warmth and comfort, and I just felt like it wasn't my time and I came back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It feels like the brain started doing it and then it got a chance and it stopped releasing. And okay, we're back.
So then, so let's man. So then, upon death, do you think? I don't know subconsciously where you go, but I feel like your vibration goes to a different plane, if that makes sense. Like if
No.
we're all here on existing in this plane that we can see, feel, taste, touch, sense, you know, I feel like that death takes you to that existential plane where we can't see. It truly is a different vibration. I don't know, man. It's
That then you have to assume that there's spirits around us all the time, and then
which I do.
Then you would also have to believe that there's reincarnation, and that's how that reincarnation happens. We have these spirits that have died, and they're just floating around, and then there's a birth, there's a pregnancy or whatever, and that spirit, you know what I'm saying? It gets a second opportunity. Like
who knows? Maybe
all these things,
right?
And in which case, that means no way there's. Listen, you know where I'm at spiritually. We've talked about this, but this makes it sound like there's not a God. Like this is all like I guess my answer would be I'm spiritual at this point, then, because then it all sounds like it's all like waves. Like if you're getting along with the waves, you're gonna go with high waves even after. But if you've always been negative waves down low deep, right?
I don't want to discount that, but what I'm getting at and what we're describing, somebody else on DMT or some type of, you know, LSD that's found naturally, they could have this vision where they feel like they were speaking to a god.
Yeah,
like,
that's
you know,
weird.
Like we talk about the burning bush, like, oh, that burning bush was actually giving off, you know, hallucinogenic toxins into the smoke. So did he have this vision, or was he tripping balls and that's
because
how
it
he
spontaneously combust out in the middle of nowhere?
Right. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why I don't want to discount the Bible or any type of literature or scripture like that, because maybe that person that could be that person's interpretation of what they experienced.
And this all comes back to the fact that we've evolved without alien influence. How do we know this isn't just a big fucking game to these? We're just a fucking experiment. You know what I'm saying? Like there's aliens. That means there's something that's smarter than us. They're able to travel from planet to planet. We've gone as far as we can, and there's no life. They and since the 50s, since forever. They're in paintings. They're in hieroglyphics. We did this again. I can never say that word. Hieroglyphics.
So here's the thing.
Hieroglyphics.
Let's what type of what do you think the aliens look like? Do you think
they're small? I think they've gotten to a point where they don't need
muscles.
They're just so smart. They can just create and if affirmation and frequency and all that stuff is real, then they just have to be on a high frequency and it'll evolve in front of them. It'll manifest.
So telekinesis.
Exactly.
Things like that.
If we have to assume that's all real, because going back to what you were just talking about, what got me thinking about is, man, what happens when all these people that have these spiritual trips on drugs, what are they really seeing if our brain creates that? How do they have these connections where they talk to somebody? Like, there's been stories where someone has done ayahuasca and they've had this religious experience or something. They've talked to somebody and got an answer for something and applied it to real life and become millionaires after. Like they saw, oh my God, this is all I have to do. Yeah, they saw vision quest. Exactly. Yeah. Where does that come into play? You know what I'm saying? If we're really just frequency, is that able as we tapped in, we jumped 500 pages ahead over to the left, and hey, if you do this, it's a shortcut to here, and you know what I'm saying? And they assume that there's a million pages of you, and you were able to just jump ahead to one of the pages where you got the results that you were looking for. Like what?
Yeah.
That's so deep.
That's my crazy, God. Man. All right, that was one hell of an episode, man. We covered a shit ton. We covered a lot of hockey.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep.
Yeah, and now I'm gonna be thinking a lot.
I'm gonna be stuck on YouTube all night listening to people that don't know what they're talking about.
I haven't thought about aliens this much in depth, so I'm definitely.
Well,
now you're YouTube documentaries. Lost in your thoughts tomorrow.
Yeah, but feel free to check out. There's a good Bob Lazar on Netflix. It's a thing on Netflix. Talks about this astrophysicist who used to work on propulsion systems and stuff for like trying to back engineer type stuff. There's plenty of evidence out there, so definitely check it out. But Stevie, thank you for joining us, brother. episode 35, man. It was a blast.
Yeah, well,
to have
Stevie,
you
we'll
on.
have you back on. You'll be a familiar face to these fucking beauties. It's good to have you. We didn't get you talking too much this episode because we got just so lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
That's what happens with me and Josh, and thank God it doesn't happen too often when we have guests. But
Yeah.
you're a fucking brick. You'll be back. You're all right. You're good, right? We'll see you again.
Oh yeah, I'll be here. Thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah, for sure. For those of you guys who don't know, Steve does work closely with us on the team and stuff like that. So that's why we're trying. He's definitely a crucial part of the team. So it's
yeah, we just want to bring another familiar face for you fucks, just to get it to know who the fucks we are. He's gonna have a fancy background like us in no time, I swear.
Not a fucking alien.
For sure, guys. But yeah, man. So thanks for joining us, Steve. All right, guys, we're signing out for here, and we'll pick up, guys.
All right. See ya.
Thanks.
Fucks.
The boys from Men Behind the Mitts just want to say thanks for listening. And as always, be sure to follow us on all your favorite social media outlets at Men Behind the Mitts. Brought to you by Silky Mitts Hockey Club. Support the boys at silkymittshc.com.